grandfather's clock. The hospital room was filled with beeping and humming. A guttural sound interrupted the symphony of the heart monitor and the warm gale hitting the window. My grandfather was struggling for air. The lights had been dimmed and my mother was resting next to the bed. I sat on the opposite side and held his frigid hand. His once rose-colored cheeks had been replaced by a dull pallor. He had been like this for the past 3 nights. According to the doctor, tomorrow was his last day. He said, "Isaac, come closer." I drew a deep breath to hold back the tears forming in my eyes. I asked him, "Yes?" He told me about his life, how even though it was ending, he was happy, because he had made many memories with the people he cherished. The memory that stood out to me was when we made a clock the year before his death. We started talking about the details of the making of the clock, and in my head, the days replayed themselves. In the summer of 2009, I visited my grandfather in Colombia. His house was cluttered with large pieces of mahogany wood. He had been planning to make a clock for some time, but he needed a helping hand, and I was just the person for the job. After pondering how fun it would be to build something without a do-it-yourself manual, I responded with a nod. My grandfather had already made a detailed sketch of the clock. The clock would be 2 feet tall. It would be of polished dark wood, translucent glass, a smooth silver finish, and a compilation of various gears. The smell of arepas frying in the pan filled the room, while the sizzling oil flew out the pan. My grandpa said, "The clock's coming out really nice. I just hope that it actually works." "Yeah, it'd be nice if it does work. Do you know how to get it to work?" He said, "I don't have the slightest idea of how to get it to work, but that's the fun part, right?" The actual clock itself turned out completely different. It was thicker on one side than the other. The numbers were not Roman but gibberish, but at least it told time. Even though the clock was not what we wanted at all, we loved it. It was something we had made with our bare hands together. Building that clock with my grandfather helped me bond with him. Much later, I realized that the point of him building the clock with me was so he could create one last good memory together, because he already knew he was dying. After the clock was made, my grandfather shipped it to me. On the back, there was an inscription that read, "Enjoy. Love, Grandpa." I had kept the clock on my nightstand ever since. After the flashback, we both fell asleep to the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor. In the morning, I said goodbye to him and went home to eat. In the car, I felt anxious because I knew today was his last day. We were only home for an hour when my mother received the phone call. My grandfather was dead. I did not cry in front of my mother, but I went to my room and cried. The stream of tears drenched my face. Then I looked up and saw the clock. When I saw the clock shimmering in the iridescent light, I realized something. The time we have to live is short and limited. We can't spend our lives mourning or stuck in one moment. My grandfather lived happily until the very end. He never let the lung cancer get him down. He never cried. He was strong and made the best of the time he had.